So maybe you grew up poor. Maybe you grew up without one or both of your parents. Maybe you had siblings who picked on you mercilessly. Maybe the youngest. And they took great pleasure in sort of torturing you. Maybe not all of them, maybe a couple of them. Maybe all of them. Maybe you had temper issues as a kid. Maybe you have temper issues now as an adult. Maybe you have issues of life that are directly connected to all that mess. If you change your, I'll say thinking, I'm trying to say this in a kind way, if all that has affected your thinking and has affected how you feel about yourself, to say, well, all I knew was low income living. All I knew was a rundown trailer park. No offense if you live in a trailer park. I lived in a trailer park, a few of them, as a teenager. But if it affects your brain to where you think that's all there is for you, and over there's a drug addict, over there's a drug addict, my neighbor over there is a drug addict, and that person's alcoholic, and that person beats his wife, and that's your normal, shake yourself. Shake yourself, and shake yourself hard. Shake yourself fast. Because if you stay in that mindset, it will be self-limiting, and you will not strive for anything beyond that ceiling, because everyone around you, maybe in your family, maybe your friends, have always been to here. That's all you see yourself doing, because after all, you can't go above that, because you were told, oh, you'll never be anything. You'll never get above this. You only want to go above that because nobody else in the family did, and you've kind of been beaten down verbally that way. Let's just go there for now, because this is real. This happens. This is very, very real here. And that's all you see yourself doing. I'm telling you, you can go way past that. Blow everything, all expectations out of the water. You don't have to stay in that rut. And I'm not suggesting that you blow everything out of the water just to say, look what I did. I passed everybody else up. No. If that's your motivation, okay. But you might do it just to say, I can do this because so many other people have done it. I'm not going to limit myself because of how the mindset that I have allowed myself may be out of my own control because I was a child and this is now how I think. But now as an adult, or maybe as a mid to older teenager, if you will, I'm allowing my thinking to be boxed in here. No, let's get past that. I'm going to set my sights on things higher. That may be motivated, I suppose, by the idea of just surpassing everyone that you know, okay? Or it might be to say, you know, if I can do this, then I might inspire others in my family to do the same, or to know at least that they can exceed this standard. Because there are generational curses that you can break through. Just because your parents were poor or alcoholics or drug addicts, and maybe some or all of your siblings were the same, maybe extended family are the same, doesn't mean that you have to be the same. You can be that one that says, enough is enough is enough. At some point, the cycle has to stop, and it's going to stop with me right now. And then you chart a path, you chart a course of how you're going to get to another level, whether it is seeking higher education. And yes, even if that means student loans, there's a lot of argument about student loans. If it's done right, It's just fine. It can be an investment if you know that the career that you get past college is way above the student loan payments. Another topic of discussion. But whether you go to school, whether you decide to journal your thoughts and maybe come up with a way of writing a book, maybe you're not a good writer, but you know somebody who is, or you can seek out someone who can actually write the book once you have your journal, maybe your life or something that you're thinking about and you'd like to put into a book format. Maybe it's saying, look, I can network with more successful people. How do I do that? And you start researching that. But you set your sights, set your mind in order to go past what you've been limited, self-limited. Okay? You can get out of that rut. I know you can. And how do I know you can? Because I did it. I'll share with you now. I've not shared this in any other videos, but I don't mind sharing this now. When I was 3 years old, my father abandoned the family. And I was the youngest of 6. And there were times in my life where at least 3 of my older siblings picked on me mercilessly and laughed at my pain. Call it that. Got a kick out of it. To where I had such a temper, I had no place to go, no place to run. I would have such a temper, I would kick cupboard doors off the shelves, off their hinges. And family members, at least 3 of my siblings, turned to drugs. My mother at that time had a major issue with alcohol. She's a lovely lady today. It's a victory story for her that she overcame that. But that was the reality growing up. And all I knew was, that's all you'll ever be. There's a point in my life where I said, no, enough is enough. And all the video material you just saw prior to my sharing this detail with you was my life. Okay? And I just said, enough is enough is enough. And it wasn't until I was 31 years old that I opted to go to college. And I went to college one night a week for several years until I got my bachelor's degree and then moved on to a master's degree, finished with my master's. This isn't a boast. Please don't think me prideful here. But it's to share with you, I did that. You can do that. I'm just a human being like you are. So it's not a brag, but you don't have to stay in that rut. You don't have to stay in that rut. You can actually buy a home. You can actually have nice things, whatever things are worth. You can actually live more than just paycheck to paycheck, barely scraping by, if that. Because I did it. And so can you. Well, I do hope this has inspired you a bit. If you're in that situation, or if you know someone who is, please share this with them. This is a message that I've been waiting for the right time, I guess, to get out there. And I think now is the right time. But please share this with as many people as you know that may have that situation. And it'll help them. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you in the next video.